Hi, 8th graders. Today is the last lesson for 8th grade health. We're going to begin by doing a quick review of last week's lesson, the 411 on HIV and AIDS. So, reviewing, human immunodeficiency virus causes HIV infection and can eventually lead to advanced HIV disease called AIDS. Most people got infected with HIV through sexual intercourse. People from all backgrounds have and can contract HIV. HIV doesn't care about age, race, gender, religion, class, ability, status, or sexual orientation. If you are participating in risky behaviors, you can contract HIV. The second major cause of HIV infection is needle sharing. This can happen when needles or works are shared during drug injections, body piercing, or tattoos. Avoid contact with blood or other bodily fluids that contain blood cells, semen, vaginal fluids, and breast milk. HIV is not transmitted by casual contact. The only way to know if you have HIV is to get tested and get your results. People who have HIV can feel and look healthy most of the time. Medications are available to help, but not cure people living with HIV. Even with medication, it is very hard to live with HIV. That statement isn't 100% true. The medications are so great nowadays that people can live. It's not very hard to live with HIV. People can live with it a little bit easier because the medications are so great, but there is still no cure. A person with HIV or AIDS can live a long time. All people deserve to be treated with dignity and respect, whether or not they have HIV. Abstinence is the only sure way to prevent sexual transmission of HIV. Using latex or polyurethane condoms consistently and correctly can reduce the risk, but not eliminate it. All right, today's lesson is on HIV and other STIs, evaluating the risks. So we're going to start off by talking about the most common STIs. You may have heard about some other sexually transmitted infections which pose health threats for youth and adults. Sexually transmitted infections are also called sexually transmitted diseases or STDs. When I talk in the materials that I use, they use the newer term, which is STIs, because sexually transmitted viruses and bacteria will cause infections, but may or may not progress to causing diseases, which have clear signs and symptoms of illness. So what are some STIs you have heard of? Chlamydia, human papillomavirus or HPV, herpes, gonorrhea, and syphilis. These are 5 sexually transmitted infections that we're going to talk about in this lesson because they are the most common, the most well-known, and or have the most serious implications. All are health threats to young people and adults, regardless of age, race, gender, religion, class, ability, or sexual orientation. Although there are many additional STIs, the goal of the lesson is not to overwhelm you with medical facts, but rather to help you choose behaviors that will protect you from becoming infected. So we're going to begin by talking about each of the 5 STIs. But in addition to going over this information right now on Schoology under the assignments, I have a fact sheet listed for each STI that gives more information. And as part of this lesson, I want you to go through and read each of those fact sheets. So beginning with chlamydia. It is transmitted by oral, anal, or vaginal sex with an infected person. May not have symptoms. Can impact the ability to have children in the future if left untreated. But it can be cured with antibiotics. But it's important to know that a person can get it again if he or she has sex with an infected person again. So it can be cured, but a person can get it again. Human papillomavirus, also known as HPV. It is transmitted by hand, oral, or genital contact with the infected area of the body, even if genital warts are not present. It can cause genital warts, which can be removed but may come back. HPV can be present with or without genital warts. It is also associated with various cervical and anal cancers in infected people. It is not curable, but can often be prevented with immunization. So know that there is some treatment for it, but it is not curable. When someone gets infected with HPV, because it is a virus, they have it for life. The next STI is herpes. It is transmitted by genital, anal, oral, or hand contact with sores or just before sore is present. It is caused by the herpes simplex virus, HSV. HSV can cause oral or genital herpes. It is not curable, can be treated with medicine. Symptoms often return from time to time. It is often not visible, but still transmittable. So someone can have it and give it to someone else with no visible symptoms. And it is not curable. So another thing to remember, that herpes is a virus, the herpes simplex virus. It is not curable, can be treated, but it cannot be cured. Next STI, gonorrhea. It is transmitted by oral, anal, or vaginal sex with an infected person. Can be transmitted to the eyes, mouth, and genitals by hand contact with the infected area. May not have any symptoms. Can impact the ability to have children in the future if left untreated. Can be cured with antibiotics, but a person can get it again if he or she has sex with an infected person. The next STI, syphilis, is transmitted by hand, oral, or genital contact with the sore or rash of an infected person. Will cause a painless sore and or rash when first infected. May not be noticed if the sore or rash is in an area that is not easy to see. Is only cured if treated, even though the sore and the rash will go away on their own. Can be cured with antibiotics, but a person can get it again if he or she has sex with an infected person. So syphilis can be cured. So, in summary, these STIs are caused by either a virus or a bacteria. Those that are caused by a bacteria are curable. So that includes chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis. Those are caused by a bacteria. They are curable. HPV and herpes and also HIV are caused by a virus. Those are not curable. They are treatable, but not curable. So it's important to know the difference between which STIs are viruses and cannot be cured, and which ones are bacteria and can be cured. Second, these STIs are transmitted by contact with infected discharges or by contact with infected areas, sores, or rashes, even if no symptoms are obvious. So the STIs that are infected by discharge include chlamydia and gonorrhea. So those two spread from one person to another from discharge. Those that transmit by contact with infected areas, sores, or rashes include human papillomavirus or HPV, herpes, and syphilis. I also want to make clear that HIV is also one that is a discharge. So that would be all right. Again, that what makes it risky, this is specific for HIV, when blood into the bloodstream, so mixing vaginal fluids, breast milk, blood, semen, those are all ways to transmit the virus. And we are nearing the end. So if you agree with the following statement, So we're going to read the statements below, and then you're going to decide if you agree or disagree. Alcohol and other drug use increases the likelihood of engaging in risky behaviors. You may do things you wouldn't normally do. Well, you can think about that for a moment and decide if you would agree or disagree with that statement. The use of alcohol and other drugs impairs a person's ability to think clearly and make healthy decisions. Therefore, the use of alcohol and other drugs may increase the likelihood that a person would do things they know are dangerous and unhealthy, or things they would not do if they were thinking clearly. Looking at drug use from this perspective makes it a risk behavior for the transmission of all STIs, as well as many other dangerous behaviors, such as car crashes and violence. In addition to the impact or decision making, alcohol and other drug use is illegal for youth your age. So if a person wants to avoid HIV infection and other STIs, what can he or she do? Well, abstain from sexual intercourse, whether you have had sex in the past or not. Abstain from sharing needles and works. Avoid kissing a person with mouth sores or touching a person's sores, blisters, or warts. Refusing to use alcohol and other drugs. Before having sex, talk to your partner about being in a long-term committed relationship. For example, marriage. Make sure you and your partner get tested and have intimate sexual contact with only one person who is not infected and is also committed to the relationship. If you choose to have sex using a latex or polyurethane condom consistently and correctly every time. What are some of the benefits of choosing these behaviors? You avoid or reduce the risk of getting HIV and other STIs. You avoid or reduce the risk of passing HIV or STIs to your children in the future. When you protect yourself from HIV and STIs by being abstinent, you are also protected from pregnancy. You avoid or reduce the risk of getting infections that might keep you from being able to have children later. You avoid or reduce the possibility of infecting a future partner. When you reduce your risk of infection with HIV and other STIs by using a condom consistently and correctly, you are greatly reducing your risk of pregnancy. Like I had shared, this is the last health lesson. In addition to the STI fact sheets, there are a couple discussion posts that you need to respond to on Schoology. So, last health lesson, have a great summer. I hope to see you this summer, but if I don't, I am looking forward to seeing you all in high school as freshmen. You'll have health again, usually as sophomores, and I'll look forward to having you as a student again for health as a sophomore. Have a great summer. Bye.